Hi there, it's Dr. Bernstein, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about literary genres and then provide you with some more detailed information about one particular genre, the sonnet. As you might have noticed, we're about to study two poems by Shakespeare, both of which are sonnets, so I wanted you to have this information prior to reading these works. Give your full attention to watching and listening to this presentation and make sure that you take notes. Taking notes will increase your ability to learn and remember the material covered, and this information will help you do well in the first essay. People who are really going for an A or trying to excel in our course will find ways of incorporating into their essays quotes from some of the sources I mentioned in this video. Alright, so let's get started. The term genre is used to describe the distinct types or categories into which works are grouped according to form or technique or sometimes subject matter. Genre classification suggests that there are groups of formal or technical characteristics among works of the same generic kind, regardless of time or place of composition, author, or subject matter. So make sure you write this all down because this is material that will help you understand what we're studying and also that you can use as a quote in your paper. Now there's some general genres like poems, short stories, novels, and plays, but there are also more specific genres. For instance, sonnets, lyrics, and odes are genres of poetry. Tragedies, comedies, and histories are genres of plays. Romances, mysteries, thrillers, and science fiction are genres of fiction. Knowing the genre of a literary work can help you start thinking critically about the text. For instance, if you're reading a romance novel and the romance novel is a particular genre of fiction, you can expect to encounter certain things no matter which particular romance novel you're reading. For instance, you'd expect to find a hero and a heroine, a male and a female character who are attracted to each other but have some sort of conflict that separates them. Over the course of the novel, these tensions sort of flare up and they work through their conflict, and at the end of the story they've overcome their differences and are a happy couple. So if you pick up a romance novel and notice that it doesn't conform to this basic set of guidelines, you have to start thinking about why. Is it a flaw on the writer's part, or is the author introducing some sort of twist on the traditional romance novel? Since we're about to study Shakespeare's sonnets, I'm going to spend some time telling you about this particular genre of poetry, and then I'm going to show you how knowing about this genre can help you start understanding the particular poems that we're reading. So here's the scoop. Sonnets are 14-line poems that consist of 3 quatrains. That is, the quatrains, as you recall, are stanzas of 4 lines. So they're 14-line poems that consist of 3 quatrains and a couplet, which is a 2-line stanza, and they follow this rhyme scheme: A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and G, G. As the editors at poets.org point out, the couplet plays a pivotal role, usually arriving in the form of a conclusion, amplification, or even refutation of the previous 3 stanzas, often creating an epiphanic quality to the end. So if you don't know what the words amplification, refutation, or epiphanic mean, you should look them up on the Merriam-Webster's online dictionary, which is m-w.com. So while you're reading a sonnet, here are some questions to ask yourself. What is being described in each quatrain? Does each quatrain build upon the previous one? If so, how? If not, what kind of change or shift is occurring? Also, you can ask yourself, what happens in the couplet? Does it neatly wrap up the poem, or does it introduce some sort of twist or revelation? I hope you're starting to see how knowing the formal qualities of a poem, or of any literary work for that matter, can help you break down the work into parts and keep your mind on the lookout for key issues. This approach will allow you to do more than just read the words on the page. That's something that a lot of students struggle with, is you feel like you're just reading the words on the page and you don't know what to do with them. Well, if you have these tools, these things to focus on while you're reading, it can help you go beyond just the words on the page and start understanding what's being said, understanding the meaning, and thinking critically about what it is that you're reading. Before I open up one of the sonnets and walk you through the process of detecting the formal qualities of it, I want to give you a little background information on Shakespeare's sonnets. The sonnets were composed between 1593 and 1601, and there are 154 of them, and they fall into two groups. Sonnets 1 through 126 are addressed to a beloved friend, a handsome and noble young man. So, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day is Sonnet 18. It fits within this first group. And the second group are Sonnets 127 through 153. I have to check the numbers there. There seems to be a mistake. Are addressed to a malignant but fascinating dark lady whom the poet loves in spite of himself. So, my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. It belongs in that second group. Nearly all of Shakespeare's sonnets examine the inevitable decay of time and the immortalization of beauty and love in poetry. So this quote from poets.org gives you some background information on Shakespeare's sonnets, and it also gives you a tip here of who he's addressing in these two poems, so that's important and something that's worth thinking about. And it's also telling you that nearly all of his sonnets examine these issues. So what you want to do while you're reading the poem is think about which one of these issues is he exploring in the poem? Is he exploring this issue here? Is he not? What is he saying? What sort of message is he conveying about these matters? So now let's take a look at Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? So let's just start by looking at the quatrains. And I suggest that you print out the poem. As I told you, that's a requirement. And what I would do is create a bracket around each quatrain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quatrain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quatrain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quatrain 3. And then we have the couplet, the 2-line stanza. So that can just sort of break things down for you initially. Then we notice that there is a rhyme scheme, as you recall, and we have AA is day, May, temperate and date, B, shines, declines, that's C, dimmed, untrimmed, that's DD, fade, shade, that's EE, oest, growest, that's FF, and G. So we have AB, CD, EF, and GJ. So the rhyme scheme is pretty consistent here. Sometimes if it doesn't exactly follow the rhyme scheme, you might ask yourself why. Is the author trying to make some sort of point here? It's just something to think about. So that is your brief introduction to genre and sonnets. We've covered, some valuable basics in here, and if you have any questions about this material, post them in the appropriate section of our discussion board.